Hi everyone, back to the More YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day, and you can see it's a gloomy, miserable day in the northeast. Gone is that lovely, bright, optimistic, autumnal sunshine. So the mood reflects the performance in Newcastle United, probably not just yesterday, but probably in the last 6 months, I would say, to be quite honest with you, which has prompted me to do this video. I've been up early this morning. I slept on it. I thought my opinion might have changed after the game yesterday. Been to the gym and I still can't get out of my system. So the next best thing is to come on here and talk about it. Me and Mark are still going to talk about this on What's Going On Monday night, but I want to get this off my chest because I'm a little bit concerned, if I'm brutally honest with you, about where Newcastle United are headed and where they're going. And there's multiple factors at play here. Now, cue the happy clappers in the comments to give me a boost. And that's fine. If you want to swig Kool-Aid by the gallon and still pretend that everything's all hunky-dory, then that's on you. That's absolutely fine. I respect your decision to live in that world where reality doesn't bite and everything's great and everything the club does is amazing and everything the manager does is completely infallible and beyond criticism. And that's cool. If you want to live there, enjoy it, say howdy to your neighbours. But I am certainly not in that world, and I think, looking at the comments, certainly in the post-match video, which I do apologise, I was a little bit spaced out in the post-match video. I didn't quite know how to articulate what I'd just seen, to be honest with you, other than the point of being frustrating. So thank you so much, everybody in the comments. You really helped keep me right, because I kind of nearly just sat there just staring at the video like that because I didn't have a clue what to say for the first time probably in my life. But I've had to think about it, and I think I can articulate it a little bit better now. So there's major concerns here with what's happening with Newcastle United. And it isn't just Brighton yesterday, it's last season as well. You know, the way we handled last season, you know, the excuse last season was, oh, we can't manage the Champions League with a threadbare squad, we're totally undercooked. And to an extent it was right. How come Aston Villa are doing it? Aston Villa are doing it no problem at all, you know. And yes, you could argue that they haven't got the group of death that we had, but you know, they've still got a very good group. I mean, these fuckers beat Bayern Munich like we beat PSG. They're managing Champions League and the league. Their form doesn't look like it's dipping at all. They're using the squad really well with the likes of Ollie Watkins and John Duran, who, by the way, I called a shithouse in the summer. My word, I wish we'd signed him. What a finisher that kid is. That's one of the biggest issues we have, and we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, they're looking really good. Their players are excelling. Their players are going up levels. Their players are progressing. Our players are regressing at an alarming rate. And I don't know why. I don't understand what the problem is. I mean, for me, the big issue here is the sins of the summer, which is what we've called this video. And the sins of the summer now are coming back to bite us on our black and white arses. And it was a rubbish transfer window in the summer, to be quite honest with you. And January was non-existent as well. And those two windows back to back is what's bit Newcastle United, I think, in terms of the squad depth and the lack of quality. You know, you look at the squad itself, there's a total imbalance in the squad. You know, players still here who we really should have moved on years ago. And I'm not saying that they don't deserve the respect and appreciation of what they've done for Newcastle United. They absolutely do. But the likes of Miguel Almiron, Callum Wilson, who's perpetually injured, what's the point in having a striker who's 1 and 2 if he never plays because he's fucked all the time? Pointless. I don't know who's to blame for that. Is it the board or is it Eddie's loyalty to the player? I'm actually going for door number 2. I'll get on to Eddie in a minute, because I'm starting to get really, really concerned about this manager's ability to get this team top 6. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. You can lose your marbles in the comments, but I'm going in on it. I'm telling you right now. So going back to the squad imbalance, the transfer window comes along. We just don't sign enough quality. You know, Lloyd Kelly on a free from Bournemouth. I'm sorry, he's shite. He's not good enough for us. He's not a player that's going to take us to the next level. You could argue that he replaced Paul Dummett in the squad. Is he much better than Dummett from what we've seen so far? Yes, Dummett used to come out of cryostasis once every 10 years because he was perpetually fucked. But at least Dummy would put it all on the line, flying to tackles and all that. I'm yet to see that from Lloyd Kelly. I'm not convinced. 150 grand a week. I'm not convinced that this kid is a good enough player to help improve this squad. The Willis Sula transfer, bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Don't get it whatsoever. Everybody who's anybody realise with that squad imbalance and those two strikers, regardless of how good they are made of glass, the pair of them. Callum Wilson is fucking perpetually injured. He's wrapped in more bandages than fucking Mum Raleigh ever living from Thundercats. 80s kids reference there. If any of you 40-odd-year-olds are watching, I'm sure plenty of you are, judging by our demographics. But he's always fucked. He's always injured. Doesn't matter It doesn't matter what fucking month it is. Callum Wilson's hurt in some possible way. They should have sold him when we finished top four, got 25 million quid for him and bought a better striker, like Aston Villa have done with John Duran and Ollie Watkins in their squad. There's a nice balance there. Two different players you can move around. And do you know what? They're both fit most of the time. So how about that? So we really fucked up there. And we went out to the market and we got a kid who hadn't scored a goal in 21 games for Sheffield United. And yes, I know there's mitigating circumstances. Sheffield United is shit, but I'm not having it. 15 million quid, they could have went somewhere else and got somebody better. You know, they could have got was it Yakoku from Dortmund on loan. He's went to Marseille or something on loan, or Nice or some shit like that. We could have got him on loan. At least he's got Champions League experience, bit of creativity, bit of a trick, which we fucking lack massively. Who in our squad has a trick to beat a defender? Name them right now in the comments. I don't know who. Anthony Gordon's got pace, but he just runs in straight lines. No tricks whatsoever. Bruno does a little 360 turn every now and again and something a little bit magical, but Bruno is not that player. We're lacking another player like that. I should have signed somebody like a James Maddison. And I remember we were linked to James Maddison and I was really thirsty for James Maddison, I ain't going to lie, because I think he's a good player. Yes, he's a little bit in and out. You can say that at Spurs as well. But he's the type of player that can unlock a door with a through pass. That game against Brighton yesterday is exactly the type of game where a Maddison, or dare I even say it, an Alan St-Maximin just pulls you out the shit by doing something completely off script. And that goes against Eddie Howe's, you know, kind of regimental, strict regime of how you manage a game. You have those mavericks that just pull something out of their arse, you know, Ben Arthur against Bolton Wanderers, that kind of a thing. And we needed a player like that in the squad. Not have to be in the starting 11, but on the bench, to come off the bench in a game like that, and we ain't got them. Huge squad imbalance, bad scouting, bad management of the squad, over loyalty to players who have reached that peak and should have been moved on years ago. And that falls on the manager for me as much as it does the club. So that's the big issue that I have. We didn't sign the right winger. We let Yankuba Minter go. That was a terrible decision in hindsight because we didn't have any other right wingers. Jacob Murphy runs around all day and is a canny lad, that's all he is. Miguel Almiron is piss. He's shit. We should have flogged him in that purple patch. We could have got anywhere close to what we value him at. We're never going to get that now. Miguel ended up going to play for Chicaritas FC in Mexico or some shit like that, probably in the summer or in January, because no other fucker wants him of any pedigree because he's not good enough. He can only use one foot. He's a flamingo. Yes, he runs around all day, but that's all he does. And I'm sorry to lash out, but this squad is not good enough. The reason that the fans booed, I watched Craig Hope's video and I love what Craig does, and I normally agree with everything he says, but I disagree with the Sandro Tonali substitution. Why the fuck did you take Sandro Tonali off yesterday when you haven't got a good enough player to come on for him? Same with Bruno. You know, Sean Longstaff is a kind of a kid you bring on to protect a 1-0 win, not chase a 1-0 defeat. That's bad management by Eddie Howe. Joe Willock is regressing so fucking quick. He's disappearing quicker than Marty McFly in that photograph, as is Harvey Barnes in terms of his impact in the squad as well. Why did we sign the left winger for 38 million quid when we needed a fucking right winger? That's bad management by the club as well. And all of the happy clappers and the Kool-Aid swiggers don't want to listen to this. They're not quite there yet. That's cool. I respect that. But I'm there. I'm there right now, and I'm not very happy about the imbalance of this squad. Questions need to be answered. I'm not going to sit here and say everything's all hunky-dory because it's not. We haven't scored a goal in 400 minutes, and we don't look good enough defensively. We don't have strength and depth in midfield. I mean, Louis Miley's on the bench yesterday. He's at least got a pass in him, and then he didn't even look his way. You know, I'll talk about more of that on Monday because I've got a lot to say about this type of stuff, and I'm not very happy about it, to be honest with you. But we're looking at that squad as a massive imbalance. Yes, you can blame FFP and PSR, but what was the point in cashing in on Anderson and Minter? I know it was the only deal in the market, but shouldn't that tell the hierarchy and the manager, if the only deal on the table was to sell two of your really exciting youngsters who had levels to go up? What does that say about the quality of your squad and how well they're playing if nobody else wants them? That's a real concern. The club have put themselves in a really bad position here where it's laden with Steve Bruce, Mike Ashley signing still in the squad. And yes, Eddie got loads out of them, ain't no doubt about that, and he deserves that respect. But going on to Eddie Howe, I said I would talk about it, and I will. I'll get into it more on Monday. I'm not convinced anymore that Eddie Howe is the man to get us top six this season, and I think that will cost him his job. Do I think he'll get sacked now? No. Do I think he'll get sacked at the end of the season? Very possibly, because I don't think that squad is capable of getting in the top six because he doesn't look like he has a plan B. He's being stubborn with his formations. He's being stubborn with his personnel. He's hooking players that he shouldn't hook, all for his loyal lieutenants that he thinks he can get a tune out of. Maybe there's a bit of ego there with Eddie because he's done such a good job on the training pitch developing players like Joe Linton and Sean at that time, but Joe Linton still looks like that, enforcer. He drifts in and out of games at times, but he still has that quality. There's no doubt he's better suited for midfield. But Sean has regressed. Willock has massively regressed. I'd sell Joe Willock in a heartbeat. I said it on post-match, and I'll say it again right now. Joe Willock offers nothing to this squad right now. Absolutely nothing. I'd rather see Sanasu getting a sniff on the bench. At least the kid might do something, because Willock does nothing. Too injury prone. Get rid. That's my opinion on Joe Willock. I'm sorry to say it, you Joe Willock fans in the comments, but I've had enough of that player. I really have. And I've had enough of Callum Wilson as well, and Miguel Almiron. They should have been binned. Eddie needs to be more ruthless. But the point is, why would the club even look to change the manager right now? Who's available? If you look at the managers that they could have had in the summer, and again, it goes to the sins of the summer. If Eddie Howe was not the man to take this club forward, then they should have made a change in the summer. Thomas Tuchel would have been available. He's now the England manager. Jose Mourinho would have been available. He's now the Fenerbahce manager. I'm not saying that Jose would have had us playing exciting, wonderful football, but would we be losing games like that? I don't think so. Would we be playing shit and winning games like that? I'd probably say so, yes. Would he be ruthless and get rid of players that ain't good enough? 100%. Jose Mourinho would do that. Eddie Howe's biggest flaw is he's not ruthless enough as a manager. He's making bad decisions, and substitutions killed the game yesterday because of his over loyalty to players like Sean and Joe. In a game like that, they ain't good enough to turn that game. We were being shit in that game, and we needed a minute of brilliance, and he took off the two most creative players on the park in Bruno and Tonali, and I don't agree with that at all. And it's happened one too many times for Eddie. Over stubbornness of playing players out of position, not figuring out a way to get Barnes and Gordon into the side. That's poor as well from the manager. If you're going to sign that player in terms of Harvey Barnes, who brings goals and brings assists, and he does, he's one of the best finishers at the club, and with Isak in the fucking shop, we need Barnes in that starting 11 to get a goal, and he can't find a way to get Barnes in there either. So it's massively frustrating. More on this on Monday. I just wanted to get off my chest, guys. I'm not happy. I've got real concerns. I don't think that squad finishes top 6 unless something massively improves. And they're growing complacent. They need new faces in to rattle the players and get a kick up their arse to get their game back in check. Because at the minute, they're all way below par, way below par. I can't even think of one player who isn't really, probably Nick Pope, because he's saving us from getting battered 4-0 rather than 1-0. Let us know in the comments below what you guys think about the way things are going. Have you lost faith in Eddie? Is he still got a bit of time for you left? That's okay. If you're a happy clapper, you're welcome here. Let's just not give each other a boost. If you're a prick, you'll get the flick. But I understand if you drank the Kool-Aid and you're completely immersed and brainwashed in Newcastle United can do no wrong. But this is not good at the minute. If we want to be top 6 this season, which is the goal, we're way off. Way off. Tune in on Monday at 9:30, guys. What's going on? Have a belter. See you later. Cheers.